G'day guys, your old pal Nick here from the Bulldog Fanatic YouTube channel, and welcome back to today's video as we are looking at the Western Bulldogs, review, or mid-season review, even though we're more than halfway through the year. But we've just had our bye, so I'm looking back at what's been an interesting first half of the season so far from the Bulldogs, the highs and lows, because there's been plenty of each, to say the least. And, just the rollercoaster emotions of being a Bulldogs fan, just seems like it every year at this point, and I love it, and I hate it at the same time. So yeah, at this point, more than just over halfway through the year, and the Bulldogs just after their bye, they are 9-6 with a percentage of 92.8, sitting 8th on the ladder. So we're really in the middle of things when it comes to the AFL ladder, and really close in that wild card position. Can go one of two ways in the second half of the year, but we're not ready to discuss that yet. We're looking back on what's been an interesting first half of the year for the Western Bulldogs. So one thing that hasn't changed is our win-loss record. We had the same win-loss record after 15 games last year, albeit the percentage was like 40% better. It's just a huge stark in contrast, because in terms of our floor, the floor last year was really high. Like, we literally didn't lose to a single team below us on the ladder last year. But our ceiling was so low. We only beat the only top 8 side we beat last year were the Giants twice. This case, it's different this year. Our floor is so much lower. Our losses have been much bigger and to probably worse teams this year. And our ceiling has been way better because, although we haven't won as many games by a big margin compared to last year, we've won six of our 9 wins have been by a goal or less. We're in the single digits, should I say. But we've beaten much better opposition. I would have had to say. And with teams above us or around us, we've done a better job of winning those games. Although at the same time, we have lost to some of those teams around us on the ladder by huge margins. So it's just been a weird roller coaster, really. It's just, different contrast to last year. Of course, injury's been much more prevalent this year, with so many more star players being out this year compared to the course of last year. So injuries have not been on our side, to say the least. In terms of wins, the wins we've had this year: Brisbane at the Gabba, GWS at Marvel in opening round and round 1, that thriller against Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval in round 2, Essendon by 6 goals, which was not fun to be at after half time. We barely beat Port Adelaide by 2 points at the Adelaide Oval. We beat the D's and the Pies both at Marvel Stadium by a kick. We come back against the Hawks after being down by 25, 26 points at half time for an awesome 1-goal win there. And we beat the Saints only last week by 4 goals or so. So, yeah, they've been our wins so far. And our losses this year, oh boy, we had a 40-point loss to Hawthorn at Gatherand. We had one of the worst losses I can remember, losing to Geelong by 10+ goals, and Jeremy Cameron kicking 10, and so many injuries that night. We lost to the Swans by over 10+ goals in round 7. We lost a shootout against the Dockers at Marvel in round 8 by about a couple of kicks. We embarrassingly lost to Carlton, who had 1 win at the time, in round 10 by about 2 goals. And of course, only recently we lost to the Crows, conceding 9 of the first 10 goals against the Crows and losing by about 50 or so points. So, yeah, a lot of our losses have been pretty big and embarrassing and hard to watch as a Dogs fan. But the wins have been much more satisfying than any of the wins last year. Winning those close, tight battles against really good sides. Much more satisfying than winning comfortably against shit sides last year. My favourite win, I would have to say, was the Hawks game a few weeks ago. Maybe it's a little bit of recency bias, but because it's just against a team that's owned us the last 2 or 3 years, and it was just finally nice to get back one on them, and considering we were Hawthorn had all the ascendancy at half time, it was just looking like a typical Dogs Hawthorn game, where Hawthorn would just control the game and just pretty much stifle us of our strengths. And it was just looking like another demoralising loss to the Hawks. But it wasn't. It was an awesome comeback, and we were able to hold off the Hawks. It also helped they kicked very inaccurately in the second half. But still, we took our chances that night, and they didn't. Plus, it was at the MCG, where we don't win that too often, and I was there with my best friend and his family, so that was also pretty satisfying to be at. It's just against those Hawks, especially given how spicy the contest was between Nick Watson and Michael Selwood. It also added an extra bit of satisfaction. Hawthorn are still a better team than us, but it was nice to beat them for once. In terms of worst loss, it has to be the Cats one. Not only because it was just, we were awful from start to finish, and a lot of those goals were self-inflicted from terrible ball use out of the back half, and Jeremy Cameron kicking 10 is never nice. Having an opposition player kick 10 goals on you is never a good feeling. But also, the main reason why it was terrible is because of the injuries. We had 4 injuries that night. Sam Darcy did his ACL, Tom Liberatore got concussed, and James McDonald and Rory Lopp got hamstring injuries respectively. But obviously, the big one was Sam Darcy. Season-altering, unfortunate ACL. Yeah, it's really changed the outlook and expectations for the season as a Dogs fan, unfortunately. He's probably our most important player and one of our best players, and just seeing him go down like that, it was just truly horrific, and hopefully has a speedy recovery and is back fit and firing for round 1 next year. But yeah, definitely the worst night. Probably one of the worst nights watching a Dogs game from many points of view. It was truly ugly that night. The Bulldogs' 9-6 record is probably a bit lucky, to be honest, in some aspects, given we are terrible in a lot of key metrics if you want to win a premiership or finish high on the high ends of the ladder, top 4, top 6. So inside 50 differential, we are 16th out of 18. So that's not good. It means we are conceding a lot more inside 50s. Whenever we play an opposition, they're more likely to get more inside 50s, which puts pressure on the defense. 14th, points off turnover, meaning it's hard for us to punish teams. It's hard for us to punish teams when they turn the ball over and we get the ball back from them. We're not capitalizing on that. Defensive half to score percentage 15th, so we are really struggling to score out of the back half, which has been some of the strengths throughout the Luke Beveridge era. Points against 12th, it's pretty similar to last year. Our defense is quite leaky when it comes to conceding scores. In most of our losses, we've conceded over 100 points, as in the score, so yeah, that's not ideal. Although defensively in our wins, we've been pretty good. Scores per inside 50, we're 15th. So yeah, whenever we go inside 50, we are really inefficient. Sam Darcy being out has hurt that a lot and has made scoring for us a lot harder. Because most of the opposition's defense is going to, gravitate to Aaron Norton now. So it makes it hard for us to score. So that's not a surprise, unfortunately. Opposition score per inside 50, we are 15th, meaning we're one of the worst teams, Whenever it goes in our defensive half, we're one of the worst teams at stopping, scores. We are struggling to stop teams from scoring whenever they go inside 50. So our defense is still quite fragile, which is probably a bit of personnel and system.